What's up, amigos? It's the Prodigy Maker Minute with yours truly, Chris Lewitt. As you may know, I'm the form number 1 for Cornell University, pro circuit player, elite junior development coach, and author and educator, author of The Secrets of Spanish Tennis and the Tennis Technique Bible. Well, I had a question from a parent about a video that I posted where I talked about how a lot of the Eastern European families that I work with and that I have worked with in the past, the parents seem to do a better job inculcating the physical training and the strength and conditioning side, just developing the athletic side of their player more so than other families from other countries that I've worked with. I just think it's a fact. And I had a question about that video. What are Eastern European families, what do they tend to do that is different? So I just wanted to address that and kind of share with you guys what I've seen. But in general, it's just a focus on, very generally, strength and conditioning. For example, a lot of families that I've worked with have their kids do gymnastics or gymnastics type training. Gymnastics is very, very big part of Russian athletic culture, that type of thing. So you see a gymnastics base for the athlete, where you have really good overall strength and flexibility and mobility. I think if you think of your child or your kid, and you look at them as a gymnast when they're young, try to make them more like a gymnast, flexible, mobile, strong in terms of strength to weight ratio, powerful, those types of things, agile as well. So if you can think of the gymnastics capabilities that an athlete could have, those are the kind of things that you want to develop. And I think Eastern European families do that, and a lot of them do, and Russian families, from anyone from Soviet bloc countries, they tend to focus on that. And just a general strength and conditioning, for example, just getting your kid to lift weights, getting your kid to go to the gym, getting your kid a mindset of, I'm going to develop my body to the fullest, to its fullest capacity. I think that those families do that very well. Of course, other families from other countries sometimes do that, but just as a general trend, I've seen that a lot in the Russian and Eastern European families that I work with, especially families who have kids and they're from Eastern Bloc or former Soviet Bloc countries. In addition, I think there's also a strong focus on track and field. For example, a lot of the top kids that I've worked with, they have a track background. They know what a track is. They know how to run on a track. They know how to sprint. They know how to run for distance. They have experience learning running form. They develop their speed and agility, especially multi-directional speed, in addition to just basic track work. But you think about the basic building blocks of an athlete. You got to be able to run well. You got to be strong. You have to have a good strength to weight ratio. You have to be mobile. You have to be flexible. Those are the kind of fundamental concrete building blocks that I see in a lot of the Russian, Eastern European families that I work with, what they develop for their kid, for their player. And I just don't see that sometimes in some of the American kids that I work with. Obviously, it all depends. I'm generalizing. Of course, I have families from all different backgrounds where if their parents were athletes and their parents have that athletic knowledge and experience, they tend to develop these things as well. But I just think everyone can learn from these types of these focuses, these important priorities that I see. What else? Another thing that I notice is those types of families the parents are always stressing physical warm-up, good dynamic warm-up, whether it be it can be basically a good preparation to play tennis. Whereas families that are not preparing their kid very well, the kid just plays tennis. A lot of the mistakes that I see being made are families or parents that are having their kids just be tennis players. And when I mention Eastern European or Russian families, they tend to stress be an athlete, be more athletic, develop the athlete. So part of that is the preparation before practice, before a match. I can remember, I'm not going to name names of some of my students, but I have one family who's the son is one of the top players in the country, and The dad was also a top tennis player back in a former Soviet bloc country. And I was always impressed with before and after just a normal practice, the dad would have his son doing a pretty intense physical warm up with sprints and calisthenics and even some plyometrics. And then after practice, when all the other kids go home, typically they would stay and do some court sprints, some multi-directional speed work, and then some static stretching. Those are the type of elements. I'll give you another example. I had a very good female player who I used to travel with, and she always, with unprompted, she would do her physical warm-ups. I didn't have to remind her. And after her matches, she would uh, come and do a nice session uh, of stretching, static stretching, and cool down. And it's just very professional in terms of like the athletic um, training and the athletic practice, and that's just something that was just normal for her. And I've had many. I could give many other stories like that. Just that's just a normal way of approaching being a tennis player. And I find with a lot of the American kids I coach and kids from other countries, obviously it depends on the specific family, but I see a lot of kids who are just being trained to be tennis players, and I think that's a big, big mistake. It can lead to injury and can lead to suboptimal performance. So I would just uh, leave that for you guys. Those are sort of the things that I was thinking about when I made that first video. Let me know what you think. And obviously, I'm generalizing, but I just think that we can learn from some of the families that are doing it really well, developing athletes and top tennis players. So, guys, if you like this Prodigy Maker Minute, please consider watching my big show, The Prodigy Maker Show. I've been traveling. As you can see, I'm in a hotel room, and I haven't been able to get the new show up yet, but hopefully next week I'll get you guys the new podcast and the new big show. But in the meantime, guys, I'll see you on the next program.